What a great decision you made to join us in the trenches with Dave Lapham, brought to you by First Star Logistics today, because we are joined by college free agent, rookie linebacker, Maema Njongmeta. And this guy is special. I mean, not just from a football standpoint, but he is a special human being. Boy, his parents come to the United States from Cameroon, and they've got multiple master's degrees, doctorate degrees, both of them. Maema, highly educated. Maema could have gone to any Ivy League school he wanted to go to. He goes to Wisconsin to play football. Here he is now with the Cincinnati Bengals. And this guy gets it. Not only gets football, he gets life. I think he can do anything he wants to do, including football or anything else, when he's done playing the game of football. Maema Njongmeta, the real deal. Thanks for taking the time to join us in the trenches with Dave Lapham, brought to you by First Star Logistics. As always, coming to you from our outstanding studios here at First Star Logistics. And boy, do we have a very special guest for you today. It was a very, very wise decision to carve some time out to join us, because I'm telling you, Maema Njongmeta is the man. This guy, he was the talk of training camp. Everybody's like, wow, who is this linebacker, man? This guy's making every play. I mean, his ability to diagnose, and that's the thing. Diagnose, process information, trust it, and then go. That was you, Maema. Thank you for coming to podcast with us, and appreciate your time, sir.
Man, it's an honor and privilege to be here. I appreciate you having me. Yeah, let's get into it, man. I appreciate it, bro. This is great. I'm excited.
So, where does it come from? I mean, how do you process and diagnose? And I mean, your first step is always pure, no false steps. I mean, you understand the game of football. Has it always been that way for you?
No, I wouldn't say so. I mean, I think I've always been a fast processor just in what I've done in my life. Just I think that was always a given, but I actually there had been times when in coming up, like the knock on me was just almost an overthinker. Like, so when I was young, like it was almost too much thinking,
Hmm.
and so I think kind of like as I matured, I realized like, okay, I'm someone who's going to think a lot naturally, so I need to get my thinking out the way in preparation. So I need to be super detailed in my preparation so that when I see it on game day, I've already thought through it, so I don't have to. So I could turn what was at once a weakness, like a knock on me, I could turn that into a strength by just investing on the front end a ton. And it was really cool to watch it pay off in the preseason, and I'm just excited to take that next step in the season, because the rhythm's different in the season. So to be able to do that in the season and really help the team win games consistently, I'm excited for that.
So you're another great example of the no shortcuts, man. Preparation. I mean, you have to have a process. You have to have a way to prepare, and you definitely have a way to prepare. And boy, you know what you need to get ready and to be able to perform at your highest level. And you've done it. And your preparation is second to none. It really is.
No, I appreciate that. It took a long time to get there for sure. It wasn't always that way, and I think I got burned enough times being unprepared and underprepared to just realize, like, man, like this is it. Like, yeah. So you're about to say something. I feel like.
No, it's incredible. I mean, I think a guy like you, you've never been handed anything in your life, and you've always had to work for everything. And your family, I mean, your family story is amazing. I mean, it's all about intelligence and achievement. I mean, talk about your parents a little bit. I mean, talk about your parents and your family and what your family has gone through. And I mean, for you to just be as persistent and overcome things you've overcome is extraordinary, man.
Yeah, I mean, my parents are phenomenal people. They're great parents and even better people. I'll say just um, in terms of tenacity and grit. I think I've touched on it before in maybe a different interview, but they kind of. I was born in Cameroon, West Africa. I moved to the States when I was 3. My mom, we moved to Texas, to College Station, specifically because my mom was getting her degree at Texas A&M, her PhD. She was on a Fulbright scholarship, and she left her entire life in Cameroon to move my brother, me, my dad. We moved out here to pursue her educational dreams, and honestly, because they felt like they could have a better life for me and my brother in the States. And so, I mean, she she got through school, excelled at school, got her PhD. I came to find out after all these years that she had cancer the whole time. Like she was fighting cancer while she was doing her PhD. She had gone into remission, and I guess it had come back. I mean, while she's doing that, my dad is working like a lab job. Like they don't pay a lot lab jobs, especially back then. They're putting us through. They're barely making money, and I mean, just the attitude and positivity that they kind of exuded, even on the toughest days, I think really inspired me and kind of something that stuck with me. I get a lot from people like, "Oh, you have such a positive attitude. You have such a positive attitude." It's like, man, you haven't met my parents. Like they have a positive attitude. They have just a way of like because at the end of the day, even my worst days in football. At the end of the day, like I'm blessed to play this game. It's an honor to have this platform. It's a blessing to put that uniform every day, day in, day out. Like they've gone through some real stuff, and they've really shown how to persevere through that. Like, how can I not persevere through the trials and tribulations of this sport?
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's a heck of a story, heck of an upbringing. And I know you were accepted to Ivy League schools. We have similar stories coming out of high school. We both were accepted to Ivy League schools, and my mother was big on education, and I got accepted to Harvard. She's like, "You're going to Harvard? That's it. It's over. There's no questions asked here."
I still deliver.
Yeah, and it's like, you know what? I think I want to try to combine a little higher level of athletics with the academics, and I want to go to a school that can provide a little bit higher level of football. And she's like, she wasn't real happy about it. But you're the same. You got accepted the Ivies, and
Yeah.
you got accepted to schools like Wisconsin where you went, and I believe Iowa State was another one. Navy, you were an academy guy. I got accepted the academies too. I mean, so obviously you're a leader. You're intelligent. Man, you're the total package. And you go to Wisconsin, which is a heck of a school academically that people don't realize, right?
Oh, I mean, Wisconsin's a hidden gem. Wisconsin's the type of school where people work hard and they play very hard, and they take both very seriously. Like without a doubt. So, can I ask where you ended up going? Was it
I ended up going to Syracuse, and
Syracuse? Okay.
I went there because I thought I was going to be a lawyer coming out of high school. I wanted to go to a school that had good pre-law, and they had the Maxwell School of Citizenship, which was outstanding. Northwestern and Syracuse were the two highest rated in that area. And so then I ended up going to Syracuse, and then my sophomore year changed majors to communications. So I got a communications major and took my law stuff to political science and got a minor in that. So it worked out, and ended up using the communications. Newhouse School of Communications is outstanding as well. So I mean, it worked out, and then ended up playing 10 years of football with the Bengals and 12 years altogether of professional football, and so it all worked out. And what did you major in at Wisconsin?
Yeah, so I majored in finance, and then
Yeah.
finance and investment banking is the full title, and then I started my master's. And I have one more semester of my master's, also in finance.
Okay, so how many degrees does your family have? I mean, you guys are unbelievably educated. I mean, how many degrees? How many masters? How many doctorates? I mean,
Yeah, no, so my dad, I don't know, my dad went a little overboard. He has his PhD, he has 3 masters.
wow.
Yeah, yeah, and then my mom has 1 PhD, 1 master's, like one of one. My brother has his undergrad, and then I have an undergrad and 3/4 of a master's. So we're gonna plans to finish the masters hopefully next off season, God willing, and get that done. And who knows? Maybe there's a PhD in the future. Who knows? Maybe there's a second master's. Ted Karras has two masters,
Yeah, yeah,
and he told me that, and I was like, okay, all right,
not
Ted,
bad. Yeah, not bad.
take
Something.
notes.
Yeah, I'll tell you, it was amazing to watch on social media. Zach let you know about making the football team, of course, and Lou Anarumo was happy about you making the football team. But Coach Betcher, man, when you guys had that conversation, it was so great to watch. It's like a coach and a player really bonding, and yeah, you made the team, man. It's all your hard work has paid off. I mean, that's unless you've experienced it, I guess it's hard for people to maybe understand. But man, that just hit home to me. All that hard work that you put in, and I mean, 10 rookies were drafted. 10 rookies make the football team, and then two more college free agents. 12 new guys right out of college this year as Cincinnati Bengals. You're part of an extraordinary class, and you are an extraordinary player. There's no doubt.
No, I appreciate that. I mean, I'll just speak to Coach Betch. Like, yeah, he coached the heck out of me. He is an amazing coach. He's been all over the National Football League. He's coached almost every position. He's been a DC. Like, he's an unbelievable coach, and he was exactly the coach I needed at this level. Like, someone who has really high demands, but is like a player's coach. He's for the players, and he wants to get the best out of you. And I'm really blessed to be in that room. Great vets as well. And then the rookies, like it was the I think I've kind of touched on it at some point, but just having a group of guys around me who we pushed each other, and some didn't make it, as it goes, but I had some really good guys who came in my class, and I feel like we really pushed each other, like got the best out of each other. And um, it's a marathon, not a sprint. And having guys around you who on your down days could pick you up, and then on their down days you can pick them up and just, hey, keep going, keep going, keep going. Um, and it was, I know it's my victory in a sense that I made the team, but I'm really thankful for all the people around me who put effort and time and energy into making this possible. And so that's not something I take very lightly. It's something I'm very grateful for. Yeah.
You were about as good as for a young player, about as good as I've seen in a long time, tapping into the knowledge and experience of the veteran players at your position group. And I always saw you having some sort of dialogue, coming to the football field, off the football field, on the football field with some of the veteran linebackers, and I thought, yeah, this young player gets it, man. I mean, and so I'd ask the player, hey, what kind of questions is Muma asking? Is Muma, oh man, this dude's sharp. He's asking unbelievably good questions. So I mean, hats off to you to tap into every single resource you could possibly tap into.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's a testimony of just like, I think my realization that these guys have been doing it longer than I have. Like, I think at one point, like early in camp, I was asking Sam Hubbard, like he was just talking about his routine. I'd heard him. I was like, oh, like by the way, like, oh, tell me more about this, tell me more about that. And there was another player who was like, look, like he was in the NFL like your senior year of high school. So like he's been doing it longer than you've even been playing college ball, longer than he was doing it when you were in high school. So like, listen to what he says, do what he does. And I really took that to heart. I've kind of taken that to heart with a bunch of the other guys because they've made it in the league. Like my room is really good. Guys who played 5+ years in the league, like those are the kind of guys I want to learn from because they have a lot of the answers. So
You know, special teams is going to be a big part of your life, obviously, in terms of your rookie year. Darren Simmons has been the Bengals special teams coach, I think 22 years, going into his 23rd, if I'm not mistaken. And here's another guy. Betch is like that. Darren's like that in terms of, okay, paying attention to every detail. I mean, every single nuance of everything is covered and covered in spades. You got to like that. I mean, you got to like coaches that are like that, don't you?
yeah, I mean, you like coaches who they put a lot on the front end because it seems like a lot, but it's one of those things that I had a coach tell me, a mentor tell me like, hey, the work will set you free. The work will set you free. You do all that work. It's detail oriented. It's you cross the T's, you dot the I's, and on game day, it's like the results don't surprise you because you've done so much, you've put in so much, you know, you can kind of be free because you're like, dude, I've done so much, I've put so much into it. Like I'm at peace with what's about to happen because I've prepared so much.
So what was that like? Waiting for final 53 man roster to be, or at that day, at that stage anyway, the first of 53 man rosters. And you get the call, and you've made that 53 man roster. What was that like? What went through your mind? I mean, who was the first person you wanted to reach out to?
Man, so I texted my agent because I was like, hey, I think we're because I had there was like an article that dropped. There was like a lot of preliminary, just kind of rumors, on Twitter, on this, on that, and so I was like, okay, like I think we're good, but I need I need to hear Coach say because once Coach
Right.
said, I, I don't want it to be like, oh, I think I'm good, and then I get a call from Coach, hey, like I want to celebrate early. So it was kind of just like I was walking on eggshells a little bit because I had heard some rumblings, but I hadn't really seen anything like no proof in the pudding. But then I finally got that call. I was like, man, like my face was hurting. I was smiling all day. Like yeah, even now, just smile like it's coming back. Like just the wrinkles, the from smiling so much. But um, it was but it was also one of those things where it was like, you know what, like going into that day, I was like, you know what, I feel like I've put so much into it. I've worked so hard. Like whatever happens, happens. God's plan. Because He's taking me this far. So I was super pumped when I got the call because I love the city. I love this organization. I love this team, the culture, and it's where I want to be. So I'm very happy to be here. Here makes me extremely.
So when you got out on the practice field, OTAs and everything, you probably got a pretty good feel for this. But I mean, you played at Wisconsin. I mean, that's major college football. That's Power 5 football. That's as good as it gets. But then you get to the next level here in the National Football League, at the highest level of football that you can play, even professionally. It's a different speed. It's a different tempo. I mean, it's like, man, you're out in the interstate and these cars are moving, man. I mean, it's like this is a little bit of a unlimited speed limit. How long did it take you to adjust to that, and how long did it take you to realize, you know what, I can do this, man. I can adjust. I can adjust. I can make my processing quicker. I can make that first step quicker. I can do this. I can play here.
Yeah, I mean the speed was. I remember this so distinctly. Like the uh, maybe the second or third day of OTAs, like when we actually started doing like going against each other, like pre-snap stuff,
Right.
adjustments. I remember there was one day I was like, I didn't get any reps the first couple of days, just being a rookie, and so I remember coming off the field and like I asked a team, I was like, bro, like how long did it take you to adjust to the speed? They were moving out there. He was like, "You think they were moving out there?" Like he was like, "We're jogging. Like, wait till we put pads on." And so that kind of scared the crap out of me. Like, oh my god, I was like, "Oh my god, this is insane." Um, but then kind of as everything, you just adjust. Like you just get, and I think that's still another boom next step for me. Because now there's practice speed and then there's game speed. Um, and game speed is just another speed. So that's definitely gonna be an adjustment. But I've done so far. I've done well so far. So I have confidence in my ability to adjust. But man, coming out that was ooh, it was something. It was like going from the like you said the interstate to NASCAR. Like they're moving fast on the interstate, but you go to NASCAR, it's like this is a different, it's a different speed. It was
Uh,
crazy.
I hear that. I hear that for sure. I mean, so from a coaching standpoint, if you were to pick a coach or two along the way, be it high school, collegiate level, that got you here to the National Football League, is there a guy or two that you want to give a shout out and say, man, this guy, he really opened my eyes to some things that were important?
Man, it's tough because I had so many coaches like
Yeah.
along the journey. I mean, it takes a village. Like it's hard to, you know, I have two for sure. I have two. that I can name, but I mean, there are at least 10 that I could have also named equally.
Sure. Yeah.
But for the sake of the conversation, I'd say Eric Ramos, um, and Mark D'Onofrio. So Mark D'Onofrio, he was my linebackers coach for 1 year at Wisconsin. Had I mean, he had a great season under him. You know, led the team in tackles under him, under his tutelage. I mean, he brought the best out of me as a player and really kind of opened my eyes to the game and just kind of gave me, I feel like, the tools necessary to become a player I am today. You know, I mean, I'm thankful for him forever. Um, and then Eric Ramos, he was my high school safeties coach, and he was more like my mind coach because he sort of coached me, but he on the field, but really off the field, like in what we did off the field, mentorship wise, mindset wise, like and I talk to him to this day, like I'm going to his house right now after this actually. Like he's shown me the way in terms of just getting my mind right, you know. But then like how could I not mention Bob Bostad? You know, he was the coach who got me to Wisconsin. He was my linebacker coach for 3 years.
Sure.
Or Brian Berger, like he was my high school coach, linebacker coach. Josh Jorth. I mean, the list is on, goes on and on. I was blessed with a bunch of really great mentors and coaches coming up, and something that I'm forever grateful for.
I bet those guys would all say, man, I'll tell you what, Muma, he's one of the most intelligent players I ever coached. Man, what a pleasure it was to coach this guy. So I'm sure there's
Hey,
definitely a
hey,
truth
I'm
to
telling you,
tweet.
man, I was a knucklehead at one point, man. You know, I think this is what growing up feels like. You know, like because I'm telling you, it was not always this. You know, maybe I come off poised and mature. It wasn't always that wasn't always the case. I
Well,
was
you certainly do now. You certainly come off poised and mature. There's no question about it. Um, so the game of football obviously has its challenges athletically and physically. What other sports did you play? I mean, what sports did you play that might have had an impact on your development to become the football player you became?
Yeah, I mean, I did taekwondo at a very young age. It was all right. I didn't do it for long. Played baseball. I always did some sort of activity, and I think I was well rounded athletically.
Uh huh.
And I think part of the reason why I didn't start playing football till my freshman year, part of the reason why I wasn't involved as heavily in other sports was my parents were always really busy. They were always working. Um, you know, they like I said, my dad was doing lab work, and my mom was getting her degree. So by the time they got like real jobs, they were and really like at the very beginning of their careers in America. So I kind of just had to like do kids club and like just kind of play around as a kid. Like I was just always playing sports, but never really organized. I didn't do AAU. I didn't do travel baseball. Um, but I think all of those kind of all the sports that I did were always team sports, and so they kind of made me who I am today as like in terms of a team player. And then I think being able to play all these different sports made me more creative on the field of on the football field because I had all these different experiences I could draw from, and I still draw from when I am playing the game. You know, because at the end of the day, if you're a professional athlete, in my mind, is just an elite mover. You're elite in movement and how you move. Like that's how you play the game. So
Right.
I mean, I did a bunch of sports. Did discus in high school. Was pretty good at that. Like, kind of did everything, and I think that kind of shows up in my game in different ways now.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, just body awareness is such a big deal. You know, I mean, there's no question. Your coaches. I mean, Lou Anarumo is very creative. He puts together configurations and you know he lines people up based on the strengths that he perceives that he's seen. And I'll tell you what, he does a great job, schematics and game planning and all that sort of thing. And he's got an unbelievable coaching staff. How excited are you to basically absorb all the knowledge you're going to get from these guys?
I mean, that's something I'm really looking forward to. Like, you know, we talk about degrees, how degreed my family is. Like, I'm getting my PhD in football right. It is a crash course, and I'm buckled in. Like, it is awesome. And honestly, until I had come to the NFL, I had never met as creative a coach as Lou. You know, I'd say the only other coach that creative was Jimmy Leonard, at Wisconsin, and his defense.
Yeah.
That was a trip. Like that, he was a creative defensive coordinator. And then, you know, didn't see anything like that until boom, I was able to be in Coach Anarumo's room and just understand and have him explain his defense and his mindset and his philosophy. It's been really cool, and it's something I'm really looking forward to leaning into more as the season goes on and my career goes on.
I was very impressed to see how you handled yourself as a young player, as a rookie player in the locker room, on the football field, outside of the football field, in the locker room with your teammates. I mean, it was very easy. The communication was very easy. You were accepted very very quickly. I mean, that's a testament and a tribute to being humble, yet a thirst for knowledge. And everything that goes along with it. I know your teammates very very quickly said, "Man, this guy's special."
Yeah, I mean, I think I had a yeah, I mean, I think early on my mindset was like, look, I want to be seen but not heard. I'm in a room of guys who are professionals, and they have a lot of knowledge that if I'm not listening, I'm gonna miss out on it. So I think I came in with that mindset of like I need to soak it in, to absorb it in, and that really hasn't changed. And I think sometimes guys get it wrong because they feel like they come in, maybe they know more, they like their way is the best way, and it's like I just didn't have that, and I don't have that because honestly, these guys have been doing it longer than I have, and I want to learn from them more than anything. And again, it took a while to cultivate that mindset, but it's something I'm very happy I walked into the organization and the facility with, and I want to keep developing.
I know a high achiever like yourself, you're always setting goals of some sort. And it might be as simple as, you know what? Tomorrow when I wake up, I want to be better than I was today. And I mean, a lot of guys, that's it. I'm just going to improve, get better every day, and I'm never going to level off. I don't want to plateau. I want to continue to improve. Is that your mindset, or do you have specific goals? Like here, you've made the 53-man roster. Huge. I mean, huge accomplishment, massive accomplishment. Do you have other goals in mind, or how do you get yourself motivated?
Yeah, I always have a big goal, and then I have the get betters that I need to get there. And so um, now that I've made a 53-man roster, I have another goal, and now my attention shifted to that. And ultimately, it comes down to how can I help the team win games, and what do I need to do on a day-to-day basis to make sure I'm improving my game um, in whatever phase, special teams or defense, so that when my number is called, I'm ready. So yeah, my mindset is shifting now towards a bigger goal, and it was a blessing. When you achieve your goals, it's a blessing, and then you can never just get too comfortable. You bask in the glow of your one goal, and suddenly you find out that you're not achieving your other goals because you're still stuck in the past of what you just accomplished. So moving on, and I'm getting ready, getting my mind right for the next thing. So I'm excited.
I know you're a guy that understands culture and understands a lot of the intangibles that you have to have for success as a football team. And it seems like this edition of the bank, and it's been that way for a while. I think Zach Taylor has done a heck of a job in terms of building a great culture. Have you felt that? Do you think this football team has not only the tangible in terms of the physical attributes of the players, but the intangibles in terms of culture, all for one, togetherness, play as a team, all that sort of thing?
Yeah, I mean, I had a lot of premonitions and kind of beliefs about the NFL, and what the locker room was like when I came in, and guys told me, "Hey, it's a business. You're not, it's going to be this, it's going to be that." I mean, I walked in, and it's definitely still a business, but I mean, the love that the guys have for each other it's real, it's tangible, it's hanging out with each other outside of the facility, like guys who they genuinely enjoy playing with each other. And I mean, the team is very talented. Don't get me wrong, that's important, but they have the other stuff that you know you can have talented teams who, at the end of the day, they're just a bunch of individuals who are talented. But from what I've seen, and again, I'm a rookie; it's my first rodeo, but
Right.
this is a team who like the whole is greater than the sum of the parts, and that's a good team. And I'm blessed to be on it. Be a part of that, and just trying to find a way to contribute everywhere I can.
If I were to ask you, maybe it's back in OTAs or maybe during the course of getting ready for training camp or training camp itself, whatever, if there's one thing that hits you like a a ton of bricks, it was like, wow, man, the NFL is there one thing, or is it a multitude of things, or is there one thing that's like, geez, man, the NFL, it's even more whatever than I thought it was going to be.
I mean, there was a point in OTAs, I remember this, like it was early on. I want to say like the first week, maybe second week, we were doing 7-on-7, and I think it was Kendrick Pryor. One of the receivers had an insane catch. And I was like, oh my God, like if he keeps making catches like that, he'll be in the NFL. And then I was like, wait, I am in the NFL. Like it was one of those,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Like was lost in the moment. Like I was thinking like I was in college again, like, man, like that's like an NFL catch. I was like, this is the NFL. And it was like, oh.
Yeah.
So that was that. And then, I mean, just over time, just like the consistency of some guys that I've seen, like I was telling my parents, joking with them, like, yeah, like mom and dad, there's some guys that are so consistent. Like you can tell the time of day by what you see them doing. Like, oh, he's in the cold tub, it must be this time. Oh, he's going to stretch. All right, it must be this time. Like it was like clockwork, day in and day out. So that was also another realization. So yeah, those two were definitely like this is the NFL. And then I'd say the first preseason game, we were just coming out the huddle. We were lining up. It was after a TV timeout or something. And I looked over to 52, Sed Johnson, who also made the team. And I was like, Sed, we're in the NFL right now. Like, it was just like, bro, we're here. Let's make it happen. But yeah, those are a couple of the moments.
That's awesome. And man, you're unique. There's no question about that. Now, your parents have to be so proud. I mean, it's going to be just an unbelievable moment for any parent. I remember how thrilled my parents were when I called them and told them I had made the football team, and my dad's the one who started crying. My mother's like, "You did?" But dad started crying, and he couldn't even speak. But it's a testament to the way you were, the way you were raised, the way you were brought up, and I'll tell you, I just think that you're gonna have a major impact in a multitude of ways, not only with the Cincinnati Bengals football team, but in this community. I mean, you're just one of those people. It's like you are a living, breathing example of not just good things can happen to good people, but great things can happen to great people, and I want to congratulate you.
Man, Dave, I appreciate that. That's a great compliment. I appreciate it, and yeah, I'm excited for what the future holds. Right now, it's all eyes on New England and getting ready for that. But I am more than pumped to be here in this community, part of this team. Yeah, Houday.
Houday for sure.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate your time. Thanks for carving time for us. You're the best.
Hey, appreciate you, Dave. Thank you.
Dave Lapham here, and every day I am grateful for my experience to have played professional football. As a player, I realize self-motivation, leadership, and appreciating your teammates are key. At First Star Logistics, you can use those same attributes to create the life you want for you and your family. Build your future by working hard like I did. You'll see results both on and off the field. Call First Star Logistics today and be part of our winning team.
Opportunity knocking.